Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we're going to talk about the Winter Games in 2022. Some news broke last night, and almost immediately started getting questions from younger people, wondering if this was something that we should really pay attention to, if this was something we truly needed to watch, if this was some form of escalation. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, the Biden administration has indicated that it may be seeking to organize a boycott of the 2022 Winter Games in Beijing. Okay, short version. Is this an escalation? No, not at all. We've talked for the last few months about how American foreign policy is switching to counter near peers, meaning China and Russia. I said it was going to look like the Cold War. In 1980, the games were held in Moscow. The United States led a boycott of 60 or so nations. The reason was that the Soviets were in Afghanistan. The more things change, the more they stay the same. In 1984, the games were in LA. The Soviet Union organized a boycott. I want to say I think they said that their athletes wouldn't be safe, something along those lines. These diplomatic shows like this, they occur during near-peer contests. It's not an escalation, it is completely normal. Now, the Biden administration is saying that they want to do it over human rights reasons. There's precedent for that as well. In 1976, the games were held in Montreal. 29 nations boycotted because the committee wouldn't ban New Zealand from participating. Why do they want New Zealand to be banned? Their rugby team, I think, went to South Africa during apartheid, after the UN had kind of said no more sporting events, trying to bring about political pressure to get stuff changed. It's all very normal. It's not an escalation. It's not something you should worry about. Now, the Biden administration is talking about organizing the boycott. Okay. Republicans are calling for the games to be moved to a different location. Some are calling for outright boycotts. Moderate Republicans like Romney, he's saying that the team should go, but we should boycott everything else. Critical piece of information here: the Olympic teams are private entities. They're not part of the government. The administration can organize one, talk to them, and ask them to do this. But generally speaking, Olympic teams don't want to freeze themselves out of the Olympics. That's kind of their whole reason for being. It takes a lot to make that happen. It would take a concerted effort from a whole lot of people saying, hey, we need to do this to send a message. But to be super clear on something else, Republicans are calling for a private entity to engage in a boycott of a jurisdiction to get them to change their policies. Why don't you have a cold Coke and think about that for a minute? I'm willing to bet Georgia will be on your mind. It's not that they disagree with this tactic. It's that they don't like it being used against them. When it comes to near-peer foreign policy, this is completely normal. Expect to see a lot of it. I will try to put together a video that details some of the other things that we might expect to see. But generally speaking, it's going to look like the Cold War, from the saber rattling to stuff like this. So don't panic over any of this. It's all pretty normal. How much effect it would have? More than you might imagine. Generally, large nations care about their image a little bit more. Something like this, a boycott like this, would draw a lot of attention to what the administration wants attention drawn to. China wouldn't like that. They wouldn't like that image being cast across the globe. This doesn't matter so much when you're talking about smaller regional powers, but with big nations, it does. So as silly as it sounds, we're not going to go play in the Winter Games. It does actually matter, and it can accomplish some good. The current stance from Beijing on the United States' human rights record, it may not matter this time because we don't have a well-established record now. So we will have to see how it plays out, or it doesn't play. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.